Morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Lovely to see so many of you this morning, many for the first time. I'm Rapinder Newton. I'm the MMI Lead, and I joined the college in January last year. And you'll hear about all the work we've been doing. I work with Anne, Howard and Sam, and I like to call us a small but mighty team. In my previous role, I was responsible for designing and delivering workplace wellbeing strategies, looking at risk to employees and trauma. And so with a background in both regulation and workplace wellbeing, I now have the pleasure of leading our MMI strategy, helping support the mental health of the veterinary profession through our 3 work streams of prevention, protection and support. The booklets on the table detail a bit of the work that we do across all the work streams, but my focus today is really going to be on prevention. As you've heard from Lizzie, that over the last 10 years of MMI, there's been a lot of work done to try and challenge the stigma and break down some of those barriers to get people to speak about their mental health, but also to seek help where needed. And a lot has changed in the last 10 years when it comes to our understanding of mental health. What we've really come to understand when it comes to workplace, mental health in the workplace, is that real change needs to come from a greater focus on systemic and organisational approaches to mental health. We're striving for a culture where organisations, managers and leaders are proactive and evidence-led to take steps that mitigate or minimise the harm to their employees. So over the last 10 years of MMI, there's been a lot of work done, as Lizzie has said, to really break down some of those barriers and challenge the stigma around mental health. We've got more people talking about their mental health, and they trying to encourage people to seek help when it's needed. And a lot has changed over the last 10 years when it comes to our understanding of mental health. What we've come to understand is that real change in the workplace comes from prevention, and that means a greater focus on systemic and organisational approaches to mental health. We're striving for a culture where organisations, leaders and managers are proactive and take evidence-based steps that help minimise or mitigate the harm to their employees. But prevention also means supporting those who might be at risk of mental health problems and helping those who are living with mental health problems stay well. And Lloyd will talk more about our Reasonable Judgments campaign shortly. But the work we've been doing in MMI has been about supporting individuals, equipping leaders and embedding inclusion. And we do this through ensuring that we stay abreast of the current evidence and contemporary research, hence our symposium, and working with some brilliant experts. Equity, diversity and inclusion and accessibility run as a golden thread throughout our work. For Prevent Year, we launched our Applied Mental Health Science series, and this series has been really created to help raise awareness, expand knowledge and provide a practical understanding of mental health and illness. And through this work, we aim to ensure that everyone in the veterinary community has access to free, high-quality, evidence-based mental health information which can be easily applied to everyday lives. With the rise of fake news, AI-generated content, outdated or false information, there's never been a more important time to have health information that we can trust. Recent research is showing that half of adults in the UK struggle to access health information, and most people can't remember basic NHS advice, and that includes healthcare professionals. So under this series, as Lizzie said, we've launched 5 new guides this year. They're based on common, also misunderstood mental health conditions. Our guides are on anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD, and perinatal mental health and anxiety. We also revised our more in-depth guide on understanding and managing stress in the veterinary sector. Content in this series is developed in partnership, working with some experts and qualified professionals such as clinical, counselling and occupational psychologists. The series aims to support individuals but also managers and leaders so they can also take the steps to create healthy and supportive workplaces. The Let's Talk About guides are designed to do exactly that, to get us talking. And they follow quite a similar structure, and there's three types of information in there. One is more information about the condition. What is it? What are the signs and symptoms? We talk about how that condition might show up for different demographics. Then there's information about how you support yourself and, importantly, support others. So should you find yourself talking to your peer or your employee and they mention they have a particular condition, you know how to talk to them, you know how to make reasonable adjustments at work. And finally, all the guides include a very detailed signposting section. We're not therapists, and sometimes we need to send people onwards to the right support, and all that can be found in our guides. And we're just getting started. We'll be adding more guides to the collection next year, along with a webinar series. Importantly, these are free and they're available to download. The QR code is in the booklet, so please do take a look. And I'd urge you all to read them for your own CPD, but maybe consider printing some of these and having them available in your workplace for those who may still feel a bit embarrassed and might not want to talk about what they're impacted by. And there'll be opportunities during the lunch and break to tell us more about what other topics or formats you might want to see from us. Staying on the theme of prevention, we're thrilled to launch not one but 2 new courses today. Each of these are designed to empower veterinary professionals with practical and preventative tools. Lizzie's talked a little bit about the Academy, but I want to stress that it's a free learning platform and the CPD is in flexible format to suit you in your very busy lives. It's and we launched our first course last year, which was Civility Fundamentals, which we developed in partnership with Aberdeen University to complement their Keeping It Civil guide. And this year we've worked with some more brilliant experts to deliver our 2 new courses. So every year on the 10th of September, we mark World Suicide Prevention Day. And one of the key messages is that everyone has a part to play in suicide prevention. So today, the first course we're launching is our Suicide Awareness Fundamentals course. This is an introductory course designed to provide everyone in the veterinary community with a fundamental understanding of suicide so that you can feel more confident and prepared. There are 6 modules in total. The course takes about an hour, and it's really designed to help dispel some of those myths, provide practical ways in which we can create a more safer and supportive workplace. There's content about how to talk about suicide safely and responsibly. We know, thinking about that situation, maybe we don't know what we'd say, what we'd do if we found ourselves faced and having that conversation. So this course is designed to really help you all feel more confident and prepared to have those supportive conversations. We've also included a module on postvention, which is support that's provided after a suicide. The module explains why postvention support is so important and provides more information about VetLife's postvention support. And VetLife are here today in the exhibitors hall, so do go and speak to them if you've got any questions. I should say this course isn't about having all the answers. It's about feeling less alone and more prepared. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to our expert, Dr. Rosie Alistair, who's here today. She's our course co-author, bringing her expertise not only as a vet and VetLife's management and helpline manager, but a researcher who looks at veterinary professionals' mental health and suicide prevention and postvention. Thank you, Rosie. The second course we're launching today is our Managing Mental Health in the Workplace course. Managers and leaders set the tone for wellbeing. And this is why we've committed in our MMI 5-year strategy to create a course specifically for leaders and managers as a way of driving that organisational change. This course helps our managers and leaders to create an inclusive and psychologically safe work environment, and to do so with compassion, clarity and confidence. The course has been designed with both aspiring and current managers and leaders in mind, and is suitable for all types of work practices and organisations. Again, there are 6 modules in total and takes about 2 hours to complete. The content explores why we need preventative approaches to mental health in the workplace, moving beyond the fruit baskets and yoga at lunchtime. The course helps you recognise how when mental health challenges might arise and how to have those very difficult conversations. We explore the importance of self-care, so the analogy of not pouring from an empty cup. There's also guidance for managers on how to support those who are lone working or remote working. We'd like to say a huge thank you to our course co-authors from an organisation called Ultimate Resilience. We have here today Dr. Joe Burrell, who in the corner, a clinical psychologist dedicated to transforming workplace wellbeing, and also Dr. Felicity Baker, who also a clinical psychologist who's sadly unable to attend today. Thank you. In addition to the course, an Academy Live event will be taking place on Monday, 3rd of November at 1 p.m. This provides learners with an opportunity to engage with the content, ask questions, and I'll be leading the session. You can register through our RCVS website through the events page. So the courses are now live on the Academy. Details on how to access them can be found in the handbooks. And we'd love to receive your feedback. Tell us how you find the course, all good and negative, but please do engage and share with your teams too. And if you've got any questions about any of the work we're doing, please come and find either myself, Sam, or Lloyd during the break, and we'll be happy to talk to you and take any questions. I'm now going to hand over to Lloyd, who's going to talk about our Reasonable Adjustments campaign. Thank you.
Hello. Hope everyone's well and you can hear me okay. Welcome. I know some of you are here at the symposium for the first time. So yeah, welcome to you all. My name's Lloyd Emeka. I am the Senior Officer Diversity Inclusion at the college. I've been in my role now for 2 years. And actually, when I first joined, literally within my first few weeks, I attended the last symposium, which was held in Manchester. And it was really great then to kind of see all the work that was being done in the field. So I'm going to talk to you for a bit about a recent campaign that I've been involved in, along with many other people at the college. And it's a campaign that, as Rapinder mentioned, is a reasonable adjustments campaign. So I want to start first just to kind of give you a bit of a snapshot with regards to how this campaign came about. So there was a disability and chronic illness survey that we did in collaboration with the British Veterinary Chronic Illness Society last year. And so really the findings that came out from that campaign really sort of demonstrated to us that there was a need to have a reasonable adjustments campaign, both in terms of making more people in the field aware of what reasonable adjustments is, but also equipping them with the tools and resources that can help them develop their knowledge in the area. And this campaign, unusually for us, so normally when we run campaigns, they tend to be for a very short period of time, usually a month or 2 months. This particular campaign ran from February this year right through till August. And as you'll see on the next slide, it was very much a multifaceted campaign, lots of different aspects to it. So I'm going to talk through each of them very briefly. So we had some social media activity which ran on 3 different social media platforms. It started off initially with posts about legislation, some, quite sort of introductory information about inclusion, disability, why reasonable adjustment is important in the workplace. And as the campaign progressed, it started to shift a lot more towards actually promoting all the other aspects of the campaign that were involved. We also had the real stories and insights. So what was this all about? It was essentially co-created blogs with veterinary professionals, 12 of them in total, and they all had various health conditions. Some of them were neurodivergent, and they talked about their own experiences in the workplace, their lived experiences. And, it's worth going onto our website and reading some of them because there's lots of really good content there. We also ran a webinar panel discussion back in July, and we had an excellent panel, which was a combination of workplace and clinical psychologists, along with veterinary professionals with lived experience. And that webinar actually had just over 160 attendees. The feedback was really positive. 75% of them felt that actually they knew more about reasonable adjustments as a result of attending the webinar. So that was really positive for us. And then we also worked with an occupational therapist to create some resources, which also currently live on the campaign web pages. And we also worked with a work psychologist to develop a conversations guide about reasonable adjustments. And this was really kind of looking at it from both the perspective of the manager and the employee. How do you go about having conversations about reasonable adjustments in the workplace? What are the things you need to be aware of? And so on and so forth. And we are also currently developing a health passport. Again, we are working with academic experts to develop a passport which will be predominantly focused on the workplace, but will also have some relevance to students as well. And that should be ready next month. So keep an eye out for that. And that will be widely available, easily accessible on our website as well. So as you can see, lots of different elements to this particular campaign. And so what were the key learnings that we took? There's lots of learnings that we derived, but I'm just going to kind of talk about a few things specifically. So firstly, based on the high engagement and the positive feedback that we've received from various people, it really highlighted that actually there is a need for evidence-based content about reasonable adjustments. And that is something that, thankfully has come to fruition over these last number of months. We also really kind of realized that actually having that combination of lived experiences from veterinary professionals and contributions from academic experts really kind of is a nice marriage, brings together some really rich and diverse perspectives. And finally, when you do have a look through the real stories and insights that I referred to earlier, what you'll start to realize is that reasonable adjustments is not something that kind of happens in isolation. It's very much interlinked with mental health, well-being, and so it becomes quite a complex sort of area that covers lots of different parts. So there's a kind of just some of the few sort of learnings I wanted to kind of bring to your attention. Obviously, if you have any questions about the campaign, feel free to grab me during the breaks, and I'm more than happy to share more details. There is a QR code in the program which will take you directly to the website where you can get access to all of the information related to the campaign. And so lastly, just in terms of help and support, so as Lizzie mentioned already at the beginning, we do have mental health first aiders visible with green lanyards here today. But also on the first floor, we have a designated wellbeing space and a multi-faith room. So obviously, please do out those spaces if you need to at any point during the day. And there's also a few kind of phone numbers on there if you do need to call Vet Life or Samaritans at any point. And that's it. And I think we're going to be heading into refreshments right now. Hey, thank you very much.